I'm coming for you, Athetos, on Let's Play Axiom Verge. So, I am, as before, up at the very top of Mar-uru, right outside of the final boss fight. Before I do that, though, there are a couple more loose ends I want to spend this final episode tying up. First thing is I am actually going to go down and demonstrate the Zeder-Hool boss fight. I'm not going to save after that, because it will cause me to lose out on an achievement if I did it. I will demonstrate it in case anyone cares, and then reset. I'll be right down there. Alright, here we are again in the Zeder-Hool room. As I noted previously, he is substantially harder than the original Zeder. 1, he's a lot more aggressive when he shoots at you. 2, you don't have any cover. 3, he is covered by armor, so you can't just hit him from any angle. But if you want to fight him, the best way I've found to do that is to basically just focus on avoiding the spread shot he does, teleport through it back and forth, and then when he drops those bombs, those are easier to evade, so use that as your window to actually try to damage him. If you have the flamethrower, it's not too important to hit him at the right angle, because it will penetrate his armor for the most part, as long as you're close enough. The same is probably true of the inertial pulse if you choose to use that. And of course, he gets faster over time, too. Trying to use something like the Axiom Disruptor, you will have to be a lot more conscious of which direction he's facing, and be sure you only hit him on the vulnerable part of the front. I think we've almost gotten him now. And that's it. That's the Zeder-Hool fight. And as I said before, you get nothing out of it, no secret item, no dialogue or anything. You actually lose the pacifist achievement for killing him before completing the game. All you get out of it is a big health drop. So, there is absolutely no reason to actually do what I just did. I don't even know if Zeder-Hool shows up in the boss timing display you get in a speedrun or not. I guess in theory you could do a Zeder-Hool kill speedrun or something. I don't know. Just wanted to demonstrate that. I will go back to my previous save file without having done that. Full disclosure, that did take me several attempts, so I will piece together some commentary over my successful try. Be right back, and we will continue with the next thing. Alright, with that out of the way, I'm going to come back here to my save point. I still will not actually go fight Athetos yet, though, because you will recall I did note there is a secret world in this chamber. If I can get to it. Right there, I believe, is where it is. Yes. And these things, make sure. Alright, is that all that are trying to shoot at me? So, the hard secret worlds, generally, you will need to use the red coat to get into. Like that. And we. Immediately, I'm going to use a data bomb here. Because this first room has several T-type sentries that I'd like to get out of my way. Come on. Got it. Anything else in here? Of course there is. One more. Are you stuck in the wall there? Looks like it. Okay, and there's another one. This one I can just shoot through this wall. Really, game? Is this necessary? Well, I guess this is why these are hard secret worlds. Yay, a health drop, finally. But going back to what I explained previously, anytime... Another one? Anytime you start a new game, 5 secret world entrances are placed randomly in the world. There will be... two easy ones in either Abzu, Kur, or Z. There will be 2 mediums in either Arabu, Indi, or Kuna. And 1 hard one in either Eden, Ikuruma, or mar-uru. In this particular playthrough, I believe I missed one of the medium ones, but I'm not extraordinarily worried about finding it. Every one of the secret worlds contains 1 health node fragment, meaning if you find all 5, you will accumulate enough health node fragments to get 1 extra bar of health. Since I've only found 4 secret worlds, that will not be happening in my playthrough. Easy and medium secret worlds contain 2 range nodes and 2 size nodes between them, I believe. And the hard secret world contains 1 other item, which we will be finding sometime, hopefully. If these sentries will ever stop shooting at me incessantly. Okay, that probably just goes back down towards the entrance, so there's no point in exploring that way. Both T-types and Omni-Sentries. Is that functional water? It actually is functional water. See if I can avoid it with the drone here somehow. Okay. Let's jump. Not. Come on, get closer. Fine. You'll get stuck on the terrain. I'll use the flamethrower on you happily. Okay, is that all? No, there's another one up there. Okay, what am I looking at here? This one seems pretty topologically complex, so we'll see what happens here. This is like the original. No, can't get through there. is this taking me? Or death, of course. Okay, good. This might be leading me to a dead end. Excellent. That's my health node fragment for this one, which is not really what I was looking for, but at least it refills my health. Is that lobby tile up there a normal part of the mar-uru tile set, or does that only occur in Secret Worlds? That's interesting. So where am I going? I'm gonna meet you back at that vertical shaft there, where the next branching path is. A brief clip here of this interesting door, though, that took some effort to get through. Alright, I'm back over here now. Up there? Yes, there is. So, does this take me somewhere useful besides death? Interestingly, the mar-uru secret world doesn't seem that challenging. The sentries are pretty dangerous, but you can generally get hung up on things okay. As compared to, say, an Ikurma secret world, which I have done in previous playthroughs. Where it's just ancient sentries all over the place. Those things will really devastate you. You're not very careful with them. Trapped there, aren't you? Got you. Okay, is that the only way through? Looks like it. Anything over here? Speaking of scary things... I guess the game's punishing me for complaining that it was too easy, right? Options do I have here? Okay, that's probably a vertical shaft that goes back down towards where the entrance is, so I don't need to go that way. So hopefully over here is the end. Indeed it is. What do we get for it? Looks like a weapon. And it is the Heat Seeker. Basically, in the hard secret worlds, you will find one of 3 generally very powerful weapons. The Heat Seeker is one of them. The others are the Scissor Beam, which kind of fires 2 converging beams, and the Fat Beam, which fires 1 very large beam. And the Heat Seeker does exactly what you would think it does. I will demonstrate in a moment here. Can I not get in there? That's weird. Okay. Go around this way, then. So the Heat Seeker just seeks. Those are a terrible example of it working. So that's the Heat Seeker. My impression is that the Heat Seeker is really the least powerful of the weapons, because so many of the endgame enemies, you need the ability to shoot through walls and penetrate armor, which the flamethrower does. The Heat Seeker does not. Both the scissor beam and the fat beam, by the way, as far as I understand it, do penetrate walls and armor. But anyway, I will meet you back on the outside of this area. Alright, that's it. One thing the Heat Seeker is mildly good at is clearing out these Omni-Sentries fairly quickly. Since unlike the T-types, they don't have armor that you're trying to get through. And you don't have to get quite as close to them and get quite as good an angle on them as you do with the flamethrower. Maybe I'll try the Heat Seeker in the final boss fight. Might be relevant there, too. Anyway, gonna save here, get my health refill, and we are done with everything in the game except the final fight. And that one secret world I missed, but not a big deal there. So, what's up here? Lasers, not a barrier to me anymore, but Thetos really wants to keep people out, apparently. Once you get here, by the way, you do get your map completion. You should now have 100% map for the entire game, even though it's not rendering the maps. I guess you could go back down to the save point after coming in here and actually get a save with 100% map, but whatever. Note the little red glowy bits. That is the breach. We are in the breach elevator here. And there's a Thetos in a floating capsule thing. Yeah, I know I took my time, had some other things to do, but I made it. Exactly when he had a portable protective device, I don't know. Which is interesting. The Sudrin report says that he occupied the breach attractor right here before he released the plague, but I don't know. So, do we get the whole true story now that the Rusalki were the real villains all along? No. He confesses everything. Last-minute twist of any kind? I think we knew that already. Again, as we've seen elsewhere, something terrible happened to Sudra. They stopped using technology. They decided technology was evil. And they shut out the rest of the universe using their ability to manipulate the breach. And that's why Thetos killed them, because he wants to bring back post-human technology basically to Earth. Which doesn't seem like the best plan to me, but... Given all that technology now, I would think he would have plenty of other options. But at this point, Thetos claims that he is using the breach attractor to ensure that the Rusalki do not escape Sudra. I don't know if that's something he didn't plan on or what, if he didn't know that the Rusalki were trapped on Sudra and unintentionally risked releasing them when he genocided Sudra or what. So, do we help Mass Murderer continue? Good answer. Alright, so you'll remember what Elsa Nova said earlier. Something to the effect of he's well protected, but there's a weak point. Once you clear out the breach, she can help. The green glowy thing you see up there is basically a battery source for the breach attractor, and you are trying to get at that. And the heat seeker is actually totally useless now, so I'm going back to the flamethrower. Because these things, which are called beholder sentries for obvious reasons, do have armor. You really can't do much to them without the flamethrower. Also, be sure at some point during the fight, you do use a glitch bomb to glitch them. This is the only time during the game you can do that, and you do need to glitch them to get 100% glitch, which at this point you should have. But what's going to happen here is you destroy the battery or power source up there. That causes the breach to recede temporarily, meaning that Elsa Nova can get up close and fire at the breach attractor itself. In response, Thetos is going to move the elevator further up into the breach, where Elsa Nova can't get to it. So you just have to do that a few times until eventually Elsa Nova is able to blow up the actual breach attractor, the antenna you see on the top there. With the flamethrower, you are getting enough incidental health drops from the beholder sentries that you don't have to worry too much about anything. If you were trying to do this with the Axiom Disruptor or something else, maybe the inertial pulse, this would be somewhat harder. And I believe the movements of the sentries there are random enough that it's challenging to do this in a speedrun without getting the flamethrower or some other advanced item. Is that it? Okay, kind of chaotic boss fight, and it was hard to tell what was going on, but that's basically all that's happening. By the way, Thetos is actually in the purple leotard there because of the Justin Bailey code. I'll try and cut in a shot of what he looks like without it later. That whole thing where you promised not to kill him? Are we just forgetting about that? How about that whole thing where you promised not to kill me again? That's the end of Thetos. Or is it? We won't find out next time. Okay. You mean you've modified the memories of everyone on Earth so they don't remember stuff, or what? Well, I guess Earth doesn't care about whatever Thetos did to Sudra, because Earth doesn't know about Sudra, but I don't know. That was a dying sound, wasn't it? Did you just kill me again, Elsa Nova? Well, this is the ending scene. Basically, Trace wakes up after the accident in perfect health. None of his discoveries ever happened. None of his injuries ever happened. But he still remembers everything that happened on Sudra. Basically. Do we get a time loop where he ends up making his discoveries because of his memories of Sudra? Well, there's no direct evidence of that, but it's one theory, I guess. was that eerie green flash there? I don't know. Maybe you know, viewers. Anyway, that's the ending. That's all we get. Here are the credits. With one name listed. Again, an extreme rarity in video games nowadays. And a few other people help with marketing, so we have to wait for their names to scroll by. So, that's Axiom Verge. Again, for a game that's developed by only one person, I think this was an excellent game. For any game, I think it's an excellent game. It's probably one of the best Metroidvanias I have seen since Super Metroid itself. It's an interesting question of whether you should evaluate it better because it was developed solely, or you should look at it strictly on its own merits without paying any attention to the means by which it was developed. I don't know. We've got some credits of the tools that the developer used there, which is nice to have and interesting. If you want to do that work, you could research some of those tools. Some of them are freely available. And we have a lengthy list of special thanks here. I guess a game with only one developer has to fill in the credits with something. That name you see there at the bottom, though, Axio Jumao 568, I believe that is hinting at another feature in the game, the procedural password system. Basically, codes like that begin with the characters AXIO with some random things after them. Basically, you can use those codes to modify, based on various values, what the behavior of the game's physics system is. You can do things like increase your jump height, increase weapon distance, things like that. As far as I know, there's no reason to do it, but it's something you could play with if you wanted to. And wait, why is Trace in the middle of all these weird coil things? I thought we were back on Earth. What are we doing here? Okay, then. So that's it, I guess. I am surprised that I ended up with only 5 deaths in the save file. I thought I died more than that, but okay. So, I guess that's it. Thank you for watching Let's Play Axe... or not. Well, there is actually a post-credits scene here if you get 100% items, or if you complete the game in a short time, and... what? It's a Thetos in a trench coat. The dialogue here is slightly different if you get a... Whoa. What just happened? So, do we get an explanation? It's not. The dialogue at the end there is slightly different, depending on whether it's a 100% run or a low time under 4-hour run, but basically the same thing happens and basically the same thing is said. I'm sure you can look up the other version online if you really want to. But that is actually all for Let's Play Axiom Verge. Thank you for watching, and I will see you with whatever I do next on this channel. Good night.